Before surgery or medical treatment, wills and powers of attorney. It is always prudent to protect your loved one's financial position in advance of going into any planned surgery or starting medical treatment, given the possibility, no matter how slight, that there might be complications in the surgery or medical treatment that adversely impacts the patient. It is not merely the potential for death that is of concern, but also incapacity, including the loss of cognitive decision-making ability that needs to be considered in advance of undertaking surgery or medical treatment. For even though most surgical procedures are successful, in those rare instances where there is an unforeseen complication during the surgery or medical treatment that causes abrupt negative medical conditions, it is important that you have the appropriate legal documentation in place and that is up to date, so as to reflect your current intentions and functional arrangements, including one's last will and testament, power of attorney for property and finances, personal directive for health, and such other estate planning documents. For everyone involved, there is something to be said about having the peace of mind of having all one's legal paperwork in order and readily available for one's loved ones, should something unfortunate come to pass, and so as not to further complicate their lives. The same can be said with having it accessible with one's lawyer, such that you have the confidence that will be properly handled in those very rare instances, while hopefully limiting the concern and fear amongst one's loved ones. Last will and testament. A will is a written document directing the disposition of your assets after your death. The will can also set out the personal representatives, trustees, who are empowered to carry out the procedures and processes set out in the will pertaining to the disposition of the assets, as well as other arrangements that you might establish prior to your death. Arrangements that are often undertaken in a will related to post-death actions can include management and distribution of assets and funds in the estate at a later date to beneficiaries, typically due to their age or their personal inability to manage funds, determination of guardians for young children and guardianship arrangements, investment requirements related to assets and funds in the estate that are not initially distributed, directions related to the disposition of one's body, such as burial, cremation, and specifics as to any body part donations. Critical to establishment of a will is its conformity with the laws of the jurisdiction that has legal authority over the person's estate upon their death, which in Alberta would be the Wills and Succession Act and court precedent arising therefrom. Power of attorney for property and finances. When you are incapacitated or otherwise unable to make important financial decisions, a financial power of attorney is an essential vehicle for providing control and direction to one's finances and property. It sets forth your directions as to who should have charge of your finances and property, and how it is applied to satisfy your desires and wishes. It is an essential control directive that needs to be done correctly so as to put your intentions on paper. Personal directive for health and medical. If you are incapable of making your own decisions as a result of surgery or medical treatment, how do you intend to ensure that your health-related requests and wishes are honored? That is the purpose of a personal directive for health, a legal document that establishes your medical requests and requirements, together with identifying which individuals are empowered to carry out those decisions and making additional decisions in line with your stated intentions. There are further estate planning arrangements and trusts that can be undertaken where there are more complex personal arrangements and demands, which are dictated by the specifics of the individual situation. Nevertheless, at a minimum, prior to being admitted to surgery or undertaking medical treatment, it is important to have an up-to-date last will and testament, power of attorney for property and finances, and personal directive for health that reflects your current intentions and personal arrangements. For legal services related to wills, powers of attorney, and other estate planning arrangements, contact our law firm today. Thank you.